Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Infinity Evolved. I'm just coming back from a little bit of a mining expedition, and I have a bunch of stuff to dump into chests and things. I have been very busy between episodes, working on preparing everything for this episode. So, what I want to do, some of you may remember in the last episode, I showed a little bit of a spoiler on a room down here that I had cleared out. Well, we're going to be making use of that room today. So, there's a couple things that we're going to need. Man, I have so much stuff. Am I going to be... I'm going to have a hard time fitting anything else in there. Let's fill this thing up. And, there's no room in there either. You know what? I'm just going to dump this stuff in here for the moment, whatever. Let's see. Oh man, my inventory is just a disaster right now. Let me get this straightened out, guys. I'll be back with you in a sec. Alright guys, I am back. So, there's a few things that I want to do. First and foremost, we're going to need to make ourselves a few more thermal expansion machines. And let's take a look here. We'll go thermal expansion. I want to make myself an induction smelter. So we'll make one of those. And then I'm also going to want to make myself a magma crucible. Not because I need it right now, but because I'm definitely going to need it. And then finally, I want to make myself one of these fluid transposers as well. Once again, not because I'm going to need it right now, but because I will be needing it in the near future. And looks like I actually need one of these thingies. Like so. There we go. Okay, so there we got our fancy new thermal expansion machines. Now, the thing is, what I want to do, you may have noticed actually, see all these Waterwheel bits? We are actually going to make ourselves a giant room of Waterwheels. And that is going to be a whole lot of power once it's all said and done. But we're going to need to be able to support all that power with the proper infrastructure and make use of it and transport it and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's not going to do us any good. And we're going to have a total of 30 Waterwheels going, hooked up to 10 kinetic dynamos. And off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, I think each one of these generates a maximum of like 90 RF per tick. So that's like 900 RF per tick. That's a pretty good amount. And that should meet our needs. That's actually enough to even power an ender quarry, if I can ever get an ender quarry actually made. So that's not bad at all. However, there's some stuff that I'm going to need to get to that point. I am definitely going to need a better form of transportation for power, and I'm thinking hardened flux ducts are going to be the way to go. So I'm going to need some refined iron plates, which is basically just steel put into a rolling machine. I'm going to need some of these redstone chipsets, which I have... not as many as I thought I did. I better make some more of those. And I'm going to need hardened glass, and this is the big one. That's going to be crushed, that's going to be obsidian dust and pulverized lead. So, let's grab ourselves some obsidian here. And let's grab ourselves 16 lead, I think that should do. And then we'll get this thing going. So, first and foremost, we are going to put our... let's actually have it output to the back there. There we go. We'll get this going, and that'll start pulverizing the obsidian. I believe each one will make... each one will make 4... obsidian dust. So that's going to give us... that should be enough, I think, for our purposes. I'm also going to need a whole bunch more of those chipset things. So we'll put those... I'll make like a stack's worth. And these should start powering up here pretty quick. I think. Make the thing. There we go. Got our lasers going. There. Okay. 80 RF per tick. It's going to start popping those out like crazy. All right. While we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and head downstairs and start putting some of this infrastructure in. So, this room is going to be our power generation room, and I hollowed this out actually between a couple episodes ago. But we're going to have water wheels in each of these spaces. Each of these spaces is 7 from here to that upper corner, and each side has 5 spots, so that's a total of 10 water wheels, which is quite a lot. And we're going to need to put these centered in the middle, like so. So let's just get those in place. And like that. And we'll get those going. And finally one more right there. And then let's see, I think this is the middle for these ones. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Oop, that was accidental. Let me fix that. All right, guys, let me get this all put in. I'll be back with you in just a sec. All right, guys, we have all the kinetic dynamos put in. Now we need to put the water wheels on there. And we're going to have 3 water wheels on each of these kinetic dynamos. Just like this. There we go. Look at that. Tell me that's not a beautiful thing. Just the way that looks. That is gorgeous. Immersive engineering is such a cool looking mod. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in it. Just as far as like things you can make. But one of my favorite things about it is just that everything looks just so good. Man, just look at that. All of these water wheels. That's a beautiful thing. All right. I'm going to head up and get everything ready for the hardened flux ducts. I'll be back in just a little while. Alright guys, I am back and I've got everything ready to make a first couple of batches of these hardened flux ducts. Certainly not going to be enough to do the whole room, but it is definitely a start. So let's head on down to the basement and I'll kind of show you how I'll get this all hooked up. And then once that's done, I'll come back and we'll look at some other things. So first and foremost, I think these lights gots to go. And we'll have to figure out some other lighting solution, because these torches right here, they're not doing it for me. But what I'm thinking we'll do is have these flux ducts that come across like that, right? Just right along this edge. And then we'll actually hook up these low voltage wires. Oh, that's the connector. Here we go. A low voltage wire like so from each of these windmills to the flux ducts, because it actually does connect like this. So this should work in theory, taking the low voltage amount into the hardened flux ducts, which can support a lot more RF per tick than the voltage wires or than anything else. And it should be lossless as well. I shouldn't actually lose any RF doing this. And then what we'll probably do is hook up like a hardened power energy cell or something like that to each of these power lines. So that's kind of the plan. It is going to take me a little while to get to that point, guys, so let me do a little bit more work, and then I'll come back to you. Alright, guys, I am back, and I think I now have everything I need to make 4 of these hardened energy cells. 4 of them. That's a lot of these guys, but that's okay. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot one very important thing. The circuits. I'm going to need those. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit of redstone out of here. And I should have the iron plates right here that we need. And let's go ahead and make 4 of those bad boys real quick. I knew I was forgetting something. Here we go. All right, then we'll just drop those on top, and that will give us 4 hardened energy cells, which will be plenty for what we need. Okay. So, let's go ahead and head downstairs. Let's head on down here. And let's see. Okay, so we've got Where do we want to hook these up? I'm thinking we'll put one here and one here. So we'll do like that and like that. And can I hook up? Yes, good. Okay, so those will hook up like so. And then over here, I think I actually want this to kind of be a little bit bigger right here. I'll clean this up a little bit more later on. But for now, let's put one energy cell here and one energy cell here. And that will be an input. And that will be an input. There we go. So those will hook up to these water wheels. And I think that should work out pretty well. So now all we need to do is actually get the water going in here. So let's start off. Let's say right here, we're just going to make an infinite water source. I did bring this hardened portable tank with me. So I'll put one there and one there. There we go. That gets us our infinite water source that we need. And then we need to figure out... Ah. Dang it. I'm trapped. There we go. Okay. So now we need to get this stuff all hooked up the way it should be. So let's go up and build this like so. And I think, let's see. So this is the center. So we want this line to come across like this, I believe, and then we'll have the water flowing back here. So let me get these lines in place, guys, and I'll come right back to you. All right, guys, I am back, and I've got these kind of border lines in. So now it's time to just go ahead and test these out and see if we can get them to work. So we're going to put water like this. And this wheel should start spinning pretty quickly. We'll get those three going like this. There we go. And that should be good. Now we do actually want to set this to input. And there we go. It is filling up. So it looks like this is working, which is definitely a good thing. Let me go ahead and fill in the rest of these guys, and I'll be back with you in just a little bit. All right, guys, I am back. So, we've got all of the water wheels going now. Let's take a look. That does seem to be filling up pretty quick. Same for this one. That seems to be going pretty well. I think all in all, that's a pretty successful power setup. So now, what I want to do is I want to set up a room so we can actually do something with all of that power that we're generating. So I'm thinking we'll go about here for the time being. Let's also clean this up a little bit at least. Can I reach? Yeah. Ooh. Oh, it's so hard. There we go. Come on. Oh. I can't. I can't get it. What if I stand on top of this? There we go. That's what I should have done all along. There we go. Okay. So that seems better now. And let's do maybe something like this. I'm just kind of trying to form out the shape that I want here. Because we're going to want... Or do I want walls? I don't know. Decisions. I know that this is where I'm going to want to put all of my technical machines. Especially since we have some pretty solid power generation going on now down here. Looks like these flux ducts are each getting about 480 RF per tick, which is pretty solid. And that's right around where I'd expect it to be, too, because we said 90 RF for each of these triple water wheels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times... Yeah, that's about right. That's pretty good. So I think we're in good shape. Let's start seeing about moving some of this stuff down here and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to get some more work done, guys, and then I'll come back to you. All right, guys, I am back, and I think I've got it all figured out. Now, the room is still looking pretty plain, obviously. We'll clean that up. Probably in the next episode, we'll come back down here, and we'll make it look all pretty and beautiful. But for now, it looks all right. And basically what I've done is I took these hardened flux ducts. I also ran one down and over. That way all 10 of the water wheels are hooked up to essentially both sides. That way if like this side's not using any power but this side is, I can have everything hooked up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the industrial craft stuff and put it like right here. And that way I can hook it up above. So if we put a wire connector here and here, or then here and here, we can grab some low voltage wire and do that. And that way, these will still be powered, even though they run on EU instead of RF, because these connectors convert the power. So it looks something like this, and I think that looks pretty good. We've got all of our thermal expansion machinery over here. We've got our rock crusher right here in the middle. And then we've got our forestry stuff and our metal, or our industrial craft stuff here. And this is something that can be pretty easily expanded as well. So all in all, it looks pretty good. And now we have a pretty solid power gen to keep us going. I do want to do one quick thing as well, just with lighting, because I've got some torches up there in the other room, but I'm not really all that happy with those torches. So I think... Oh, is this done? This is done. Cool. That means we can break this, and we can move this thing down there as well. I may want to move that hardened energy cell, too. I definitely want to get these generators out of here. And I think I am going to leave this water wheel that's up there, just in case I have some basic machines that I want to power right here. But we've got all that ugliness that was that... It was like Frankenstein down here. It was terrible. It was everywhere. And I couldn't do it anymore. It was driving me crazy. So I think we're good. Let's put these generators away. We'll put our extra hardened energy cell in there. Let me just get a little bit of this stuff organized. You can go there. Okay, so let's grab some glowstone lighting. And then I think let's maybe grab some cobblestone stairs and some andesite. And I want to work just a little bit on a floor pattern. I don't know if this is going to ultimately end up with the, if this is ultimately going to be what the floor pattern in here is, but these torches I'd really like to get rid of. So let's go ahead and take out, that much of the floor. I think that'll be good. And then we'll maybe put stairs like this. Like so. Smooth stone here. Glowstone in the middle. And then maybe andesite like this. How does that look? That's not too bad. I'm not entirely sold with it. I think we'll have to definitely come up... I'll have to probably do some of this off camera and come up with a better floor design. But all in all, it doesn't look too bad. And then as far as other lighting goes, I think this torch lighting that's up on the walls can stay. So I think we're good with that as well. But guys, I think I am pretty much out of time for this episode. So my friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.